Hello, and welcome back to A Slightly Twisted Female. I am your host, Brittany Rue. Let's see how this mic is doing. It looks like it's a little bit low. Let me just. Hello. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I'm gonna stick with that. And it looks like. Here we go. Okay, how's the audio? Hi, Ella. How are you? I have like no voice. All right, welcome back to Slightly Twisted Female. I'm your host, Brittany Rue. I just wanted to do like a little recap from Speaker's Corner Philly. Right now, shout out to all the women in New York City who are standing up against a very aggressive TPA, trans privilege activist pushback in New York City. And unfortunately, in New York City, the women are not getting the sort of support that we did in Philly. And, I just want to say shout out to them. Thank you for holding the line and pushing through. I missed you guys too. Trust me. I really did. I just had to take some time for other stuff in my life. But, just know I'm always coming back. I love this work and I love you guys. I love this community. So let's talk about it. All right. Yesterday in Philadelphia was the Philadelphia leg of Kellie Jay-Keen's TERFin USA tour of the United States, where as far as I see, the way that I see it, it's like symbolically blessing, our space to passing the torch to American women. I do want to shout out and recognize the UK has come up with a brilliant formula for this. They're the ones who created Speaker's Corner. They deserve that credit. And they've given us this sort of blueprint for what to do and how to do it. And Kellie Jay-Keen, is the spearhead of that. And I want to thank her from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for coming to Philly. You had a million cities to choose from and you chose Philly. And you guys, she's more amazing in person. What strikes me about Kellie Jay-Keen is her excellent, unwavering level of poise. It's almost as if the more chaos around her, the more centered and grounded she is in her power. I watched her and it's really remarkable. There's a reason that she is who she is. It's not by accident. It's not just because she's pretty. It's not because she's she's got great strategies and things like that and a very good eye for marketing, but she's really something else. There's something very special about this woman. And it's not just the really sexy red power suit she was wearing, but that was very nice too. Anyway, and I talked to her, I was like, how do you do it? How do you keep up the energy? She's like, and she goes, I don't know, I quite like it actually. And I was like, yes, god damn it, that was exactly the sort of response I would expect from you. She was great. She was so great. She's so not arrogant, so not self-important. She was awesome. She was very inclusive of all of us. She came and hung out with us. Embarrassingly enough, after this woman stood, after doing these one after another across the US, and after we stood out in the cold and fought against noise pollution and harassment and being told to go home, and all kinds. Somebody actually said, go wash your smelly pussy, you bitch, to one of the older women who was trying to get through the barricade. I was like, you people, tell us more about how misogynistic you are. Tell us more about how much female bodies disgust you and how much you loathe them, right? But you want to be us. And, despite all of that, afterwards, again, when the rally was over and we returned to being women, we tried to eat at a place called Khyber's Pass. I've actually been there. It's this beautiful, very old architecture, old, I believe, Irish pub. It's a beautiful bar. And it's funny because they had all gotten there a little bit before I did. And I was looking for the bathroom. And I was looking for, I don't know what I was looking for. I had to ask the lady something. So I went up and I was like, oh, excuse me. And I saw she was shaking. She's like, yeah. And she was shaking. Her whole body was shaking. This was a young 20-something waitress. I was like, you okay? She's like, yeah, why? And I was like, all right, just checking. And then I looked at, there was a little cup on their table that had a bunch of pride flags in it. And I looked at the cup and I looked at her and she saw me and she kind of gave me a look. And then I looked over at the other woman. I was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, we're fine. And I was like, okay, you guys seem like you're struggling. And in that moment, I knew that they knew who we were. I knew that they knew who Kellie Jay-Keen was, and I knew what their politics were without a word about it being spoken. I went right back to my table. I was sitting with Jennifer Thomas, and I said, Jen, I said, they know who we are, and they don't like us being here. And one thing I love about Jen is she doesn't wait for permission. She's not like, oh, shoot, well, what should we do? She looked at me, and she knew to trust that I knew what I was talking about. And I appreciate that about Jen. She was like, all right, let me see what's going on. And she went like kind of like did like a walk up and like walk by them. And she was like, I think you're right. I think you're right. And so she kind of like quietly went over to Posie and the group. And she was like, hey, listen, I think that there's some static with the service here. I think that they're being weird. They like didn't want to give us cups. They were being really weird about seating us, and it's so sad. We had elderly women there. We have black women. We have a woman from India, from South India, who is a physician here in America. Because we can't get enough qualified people here in America to serve some of our higher level needs. She's worked so hard to get in this country and to serve this country as a physician, as a highly educated woman. And this is how we were treated. So I came over to Posie Parker and I crouched down next to her and I was like, hey, Kellie, I was like, just as a heads up, I'm quite confident that we're not welcome here. And that's just the vibe that I get. And I was like, I'm not, as far as I'm concerned, we do nothing. We continue to order and we eat. She goes, yeah. She goes, no, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's how I feel too. I was like, honestly, make them serve us. I was like, the best thing in the world is to like, I know they can like fuck with the food, but like, again, if there's any evidence of that, like whatever, I was like, just sit here and let them bring us waters and cups and things like that. And she's like, yeah, that's fine with me. And I was like, great. So then something happened where all of a sudden one of the guys came over. Was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. We're not going to be able to serve you. We ask that you leave. And I wish someone had been recording it. My phone was dead at this point. And we were like, excuse me? And someone was like, and why is that? And someone was like, what are women not allowed to eat here? That's when Jennifer Thomas got up and she got right in his face and she was like, so tell us again, are women not allowed to eat here? Let me show you guys really quick if I can. It was horrendous. And I was like, yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice, Philly. That's really great. We have a woman who flew in here from the United Kingdom. We're not talking about politics. We're not sitting here preaching. We're not passing out literature. We literally mean to have a meal like anybody else. Okay. And it's like, what is this the new, hold on for a second. This is the new segregation. Is this where we're at with it? Let me get the video up. Damn. Damn it. My computer's being slow. Oh, here we go. All right, here's one from Jennifer. And I was standing right next to her, and I'm so glad she got up in his face because I was like, these people really are something else. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Let me... And my apologies to you. And I want to, just real quick, too, before I get going.
Yeah, it's because you're women.
Sorry, hold on.
What's the name of the restaurant?
I do want to say Kellie Jay-Keen's, her everything is so on point. I mean, her team could not be more lovely. They were sweet. They were polite. She had two men who were doing camera. They were accommodating. They were not in the way. They were in good spirits the whole time. She was so easy. She was great. Like, she really has whatever that special thing is to be the face of something. I'm so glad we have her. She's phenomenal. She's so not stingy, and she's so on point, and she's funny. She's so funny. She was really great in every way she could be great. But here, these people are such fucking losers, and I'm so embarrassed on behalf of everything.
It's called Kyber Pass Pub.
Kyber Pass Pub. So are you the manager?
I called it.
Are you the manager?
Hold on.
You're the manager too? Oh.
All right, so that was the one.
I have a right to do that, so.
Why are you refusing service?
Because it doesn't matter. We got a
Doesn't
phone
matter.
call
So
about
you're
you guys.
refusing women to eat at your restaurant.
Yeah, it's because they're women.
What's the name of the restaurant?
It's called Kyber Pass Pub.
Kyber Pass Pub. So are you the manager?
I called it.
Are you the manager?
Yeah.
You're the manager too? Oh wow. Wow. You're refusing service to
By
us.
next month, this will be a
For a Let
clubhouse.
Women Speak event. For a Let Women Speak event.
That's all
You
good.
don't like women speaking in public? Is that
Yeah.
it? You don't like women speaking in public?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay, everybody,
It's time to go.
I hope everybody knows.
I have every right to do that, so.
Why are you refusing
Okay,
service?
so and I
It
just
doesn't
want
matter. We
to.
got a
I just want to say too that when that initially happened, I was like, "We're not going anywhere." I was like, "This." I literally just sat down. I was like, "This is a protest." Then I said, "You can call the police and have us removed." And some other women were like, "Yeah." And then I was like, then they're like, let's just go. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So as I was walking out, and like there were two gay men sitting and having dinner like by the window together, and they like said something like, "Oh, these TERFs." As I was walking out, I was like, "Sir, you two are two gay men. How could you ally yourselves with such a homophobic movement as the transgender movement? Transitioning trans the gay way, right?" And they're like, "You gotta go, you gotta," like, whatever TERF, whatever TERF. The number one mantra that they yelled at us at Philly was, "We don't care what you have to," they're like, "We don't care what you have to say, like, we're not listening." I'm like, "Yeah, we know, because if you listened, all of that fugue, all of that like internal dilemma is going to get harder and harder for you to resist. That cognitive dissonance is going to get so overwhelming, and even worse, all the people that you lied to get on your side, that you fed them with lies and bullshit, are going to say, "Hey, well, wait a minute, that's not what we were told that these people stand for. We were told they were fascists." Speaking of fascists, right? Let's take a look at this sign, shall we? Whoops. Trans exclusionary radical fascist is what it says. Let me make this big. Trans exclusionary radical fascist. And if we want to look at how it was made, let's take a look. Oh boy. Thank God we got the COVID mask in there, because like we got to go muzzled everywhere. But oh my God, how wonderful. We got a stick. We got two shanks here. We're all good to go. You can snap that in half and turn that into a dagger in about 3 seconds. This is a weapon as far as I'm concerned. And now it's mine. So, disgusting. It was just disgusting. A few other things were, and this was one crazy thing too. God, it's like there's so much to talk about. So early on, I was emceeing while we were getting set up, and I was just kind of saying, and I was talking to, as their crowd was starting to form, I was like, they were saying, "Oh yeah, you want to hurt trans kids." I was like, no. We want to protect trans kids from medicalization. I said, "Were any of y'all sterilized at the age of 10? Do any of y'all no longer have sexual functioning?" Because I'm pretty sure for all the fetish gear that I can see in the crowd, that would be a problem for a lot of you. And then I tried to engage with a bunch of them, a few of them who were like acting as leaders. They had one man who was like 6'5", tall black man whose eyes were like this. He was like cross-eyed as shit and had like horse teeth. And he was like, "Yeah, we don't care. We are with trans. Listen, Philly is a trans city." And I was like, "No, well, Philly is also a women and children's city, sir. And we have a right to speak, and we are going to protect our own. We're going to protect our women. We are going to protect our children." Okay? And I said, "Are you interested in having a dialogue?" And he was like, "No." And he put the thing right in my face and started screaming in my face, which actually is a form of assault because you could blow my ears out with that. He had this huge, like, high quality bullhorn that he put right in my face and started screaming into it. I went up to several of them, tried to shake their hands. None of them even, accepted. But I want to say there was one. You guys, there was one. I was there was like a whole line of them on the fence, and they were all heckling and stuff. And I was saying I was like, don't you understand? I was like, how could you put men with women in prison? I said, we don't care what adults do. We don't think it's okay that you're sterilizing children. I had some dipshit girl come up to me, and I was saying, we don't think it's appropriate they're sterilizing children. She goes, they're not sterilizing children. I was like, my God, this just shows how stupid and uneducated you people are. And what's the worst is how hardcore you're going for a topic that you don't really know much about, do you? And I was like, let me get you up to speed there, sweets. Lupron, the drug Lupron, the men's prostate cancer drug that was pulled off the market and has to date the highest medical scandal payout of all time from a lawsuit because of problems that it had. Yeah, remember that one? It's being used off label by these gender clinicians with no long-term studies to know that this is safe or acceptable in human use. We're using them in children, followed by cross-sex hormones, results in sterility 100% of the time. So what do you mean they're not sterilizing kids? That's that precious trans health care that you all say should be universalized and paid for by the taxpayer. It's getting out of control. Hold on, I gotta turn off. Anyway, sitting next to the girl who doesn't understand that the trans health care that they're so desperately to dole out to gender confused children, or just, misled children or groomed children, that health care, that necessary trans health care is sterilizing children. Yes, it is. But to her left was a young man who, as I spoke and I watched him and his eyes were locked on to me, and the more that I started spitting facts, I watched his jaw start to hang open, and I saw his eyes get bigger, and I literally saw, I watched this man have a peak trans. I swear to God, if you somehow, by some grace of God, discover this channel and you're the person, and I know you know who you are, because I literally had a moment where I just started talking to you, and literally as I was explaining to him, and I was like, listen, we don't care what adults do. We're asking for safe spaces for women and children. That's it. Okay? We think that adults can medicalize as they want. We believe that children do not have the capacity to give consent for something that serious and life-altering. Additionally, women have unique vulnerabilities that require us to have spaces where we can retreat from men, especially vulnerable women like incarcerated women, Black women, Hispanic women, poor women, women who are vulnerable, survivors of domestic violence. I said, did you know right now at Edna Mahan Correctional Facility, there are 2 women who are locked up and who were locked up with trans-identified males, with men, with full-bodied men capable of impregnating them. And guess what predictably happened? You got it. They got pregnant. They were impregnated and raped. And now they're sitting in the hole. I said, I have a boyfriend who's upstate right now. And I said, I literally gave the facility. I said, I care about incarcerated people. This isn't about Black versus white. This isn't Republican versus liberals. This isn't left versus right. This is about right versus wrong. I said, look around at us. Look at us. Look how diverse this group is. We have women from all across the political strata. We have women from all across racial lines. And literally after I said that, when I was like, I said, I care about incarcerated women, he just literally started nodding. And I saw him kind of look to his left, look to his right, and then he looked at me and he just started nodding. And I knew he got it. And I wanted to cry because I was like, thank you for listening. Because everybody else, as soon as you start talking to them, they're like, no, I don't care, TERF. I don't care, TERF. Fascist. And they're so programmed. And then we had a mom. A mom woke up and she had this beautiful little girl. And I'm like, why in the fuck are you bringing her here? And the little girl looked scared and confused. A little girl who looked like she was my daughter's age. I would never bring one of my kids to an event. And you got me fucked. My kids don't know what I do. I would never. They're like, oh, mommy has, a little video thing that she does. They don't understand. I would never bring them and put them in the middle. This is adult business. This has nothing to do with kids. This is about kids, but it's not for kids. Leave your kids are not mini adults. They're children. They're not mini adults. They should not be. This is scary to them. This is overwhelming. They can't process this. This makes them feel like the world is burning. What is wrong with you? So this mom came up and I saw her crouched down and the mom was beautiful too. Her and her daughter had this like matching long, gorgeous, cherry brown hair. And I saw her like talking to her daughter and I was like, hi. I was like, how are you? I was like, I'm a mom too. I said, I have 4 children. I said, your daughter's beautiful and she has your hair so much and you guys are so beautiful together. And she was like, and I was like, can I talk to you for a minute? She's like, well, what do you need to talk to us about? And I was like, no, because we looked like the same age. I was like, no, I just wanted to kind of see where you were on this topic. I assume that, if you're here, you know what's going on. She's like, yeah. She goes, well, hold it right there. Before you say anything, and she pointed in her daughter's face. She goes, she started pulling her daughter into the conversation. And I almost just want to be like, yo, I'm not going to talk to you if you throw your daughter in between me and you. And I'm not trying to escalate. That's why I'm asking you calm, rational questions. I don't come like that around children. That's why I came to you and I was like, hey, how are you guys? I was like, hi. And I was like, do you guys know like what's going on? I was like, can we have a conversation? I'm not going to sit there and get intense in front of a child. I'm not doing it. And she literally tried to grab her. She goes, this little girl has a trans parent. And she was staring down at the girl as if like the little girl was supposed to speak up and say something. And I was like, wow, whoa, hold on. I don't want to be involved in this. I'm not having a debate with your like 5-6-year-old daughter. She was like 6 or 7. And the girl looked scared and started to like pull away. And I was like, no, that's okay, honey. It's okay. Everything's fine. We're not arguing. And I was just like, you know what? And she was like, yeah, so you know what? We stand with trans people because she has a trans parent. I was like, oh. So you're a trans widower / you have an autogynephilic husband and you knew that your choice was either lose your family or sit there and massage his balls over his fetish that he decided was more important than the well-being of his family, right? This fetish that was so important that he couldn't just pull it out at night or pull it out with you in the bedroom, and I guess you're into that sort of thing. No. He has to wear that costume, that fetish gear all day long. He wants to wake up to it. He wants to go to sleep to it. He wants to force you and your daughter to play along. And you said, yep, sign us right up. We want in. I was like, and if you end up finding this. Towards the end, I told Hakeem, I was like, God, I wish you were there so bad. I really wish he was there. Even just for my own personal, I just want him to be like my handler. Cause like I dumped so much energy into this and by the end I was exhausted. I just wanted to like die in a puddle, and I was like, I just want you to carry me. Just put me in like a baby carrier and just tell them I'm your like disabled life partner and you like have to like spoon feed me. I just want to die. Oh, and he's like, yeah. And the thing is like he would so do it too. He's like, yeah, I got you, babe. I'll baby you when you're home. Like, please. It's just so intense. So anyway, so there was like, I tried to talk to a few other people. I went up to this one girl and I was like, I came up to her. She's like, yeah, trans something. And I was like, hon, I was like, are you on testosterone? She was like, what? And I was like, can I ask you some questions about your obvious testosterone use? She was like, no, you cannot. I was like, yeah, because that's embarrassing. I was like, I clocked you from like across the room. I was like, honey, the testosterone is doing nothing but ruining your arterial lining. It's doing nothing but just decaying and destroying the chambers of your heart. God bless you and Godspeed. You're going to need it. So yeah, Helena Blavatsky says these people use kids as human shields. They exactly do. It's much like an abusive parent who's going through in a divorce with like another abusive parent, or just any other parent, and decides that the child has to be the bargaining chip. The child has to be, and again, that, you know, but who has set that precedent though? You know, shame on the U.S. news media. Shame on all these docu-series who, you know, highlighting trans kids and having kids going out as being political actors. That's child abuse as far as I'm concerned. Children have no business knowing about or even being involved in these things. It's like I said, it's scary, it's overwhelming. You can gradually start to expose them to more headlines, expose them to, but like just throwing your child into what is almost guaranteed to turn into a violent protester or protest, that's negligence, and honestly, you need to be investigated as far as I'm concerned. So then there was this other guy who was like, clearly looked like he was from like North Philly. Like there was this like skinny black guy, and I just know the style, right? I just know, like I can clock like even like what general area of the city somebody's from, like probably like North or West Philly, whatever. And he had like tattoos, just because of his tattoos and stuff. It was very like prison, whatever. He had like teardrops, and he was like yelling something at me. I was like, oh, and you. I was like, I see you got some teardrops. Would you like kill people? I said, that's what's up. I said, tell me again, what'd you say you were going to do to me? And he had like snot coming out of his nose. He's like, I'm going to come over there. I'll beat you up. I said, you're going to beat me up. You're going to beat me up. Oh, all right. That's what's up. That's what's up. I actually invite you to try to breach this fence and walk towards me and lay a hand on me. You see all these cameras around? I invite you to do that. Because I'm from here, baby. I'm from here. In fact, I bet I know people that you know. This isn't that big of a city. I said, put your hands on me one time. I fucking dare you. I am the wrong one. I'm just going to warn you now. I am the wrong motherfucking one. Please know that I'm from here. Please know that it would take about 5 minutes for people to get here. Try it. Test my gangsta and try it, please. I fucking beg of you. And it was funny because he like stuttered a little bit because I like called out neighborhoods, like made it clear, like I'm definitely from here. I'm not like some out of town activists. Like, come fuck with me. We are in my living room. This is my home. This is my city. And I love having them scream, TERFs go home. Honey, I live here. I'm from here. Okay? Not only am I not going anywhere, but I'm going to come back again and again and again. And I am here 365 days out of the year, 7 days a week. And I'm going to be here, and I'm going to make more and more and more. And we're just going to get bigger. Because from this speaker's corner, from the last one, it has grown tremendously. I definitely recognize some of the activists from previous, speakers' corners. That's what's up. That's what's up. It was just, oh God, Kellie Jay-Keen is so good on the mic. By the time that I don't even remember what I said. I don't really prepare stuff. Somebody was asking me, like, should I prepare stuff? Should I not? I'm like, I'm not really the one to ask, because I was like, I deal with this topic pretty much. I've dealt with this topic all day, every day for like the last year and a half. I was like, I'm really up to speed on all of like the recent happenings. And I was like, and you got to understand, I talk off the cuff about this topic all the time. I have a lot of experience just, talking about it. So I was like, I don't really prepare, but I don't know if that's going to work for you. Hold on. My cat's trying to get in. What's the matter? He's outside. He always does this. Shoot, what time is it? I got to go soon. So anyway, God. So I just want to say beforehand, and I also want to, huge, massive shout out to the Philadelphia Fraternal Order of Police. Thank you, Phil, from the bottom of my heart, to the Philly Park Rangers for the Independence Mall Park, for not only did we have Philadelphia police there, we also had detectives, and they were so good to us. I went early on and I saw them all lined up, and this like is so there were so many beautiful moments. I was like all excited, and I was sort of like running, and they were setting up the PA. This is before people were gathering, and we had this, they already had a space for us sectioned off. They were ready for us. It was so sweet. And I was like, I saw a bunch of cops standing in the back, you know, way in the back. And I just walked up to all of them and I was like, can I say hi to you guys? They're like, sure. And I was like, I just want to introduce myself. I was like, my name is Brittany. You know, I'm a part of the event that's going to be happening in the next hour here. I'm sure you guys have been notified. Like, yeah, you know, we know what's going on. I was like, great. I was like, you know, we try to give you guys advance notice because we know last time was a little bit intense, and we want you guys to feel like you're prepared. I want you to know that if you see anything going on, you know, while I know that you guys are going to be doing an amazing service on behalf of us for keeping them under control, I know that we also have a responsibility to keep ourselves under control. And I was like, if if anyone seems like they're getting out of line on our side, please grab me and let me know. I was like, unless it's me, then you'll probably have to get somebody else to get me under control, but whatever. And they were like, thanks. And I was like, listen. And I was like, and just, you know, to be clear, right? I just said something. I was like, you know, I said, listen, the security and stuff's not really for like me. I was like, yeah, you know, obviously if I get mobbed, that's tough to deal with. I was like, but I'm able-bodied. I'm young. I can hop a fence. I can take off. You know what I mean? I can stand my ground. And I did several times. I said, but you know, I have women like, our friend Connie over there. We have disabled women. We have women who just, this isn't their arena. They're just more, you know, have a lighter foot in the world, and that's beautiful. And they shouldn't have to stand up and fight. It shouldn't be only aggressive, hardcore people get a chance to speak. I want the timid women to speak. You know, I want the woman who doesn't feel, you know, capable of stepping up to people to speak. I said, and that's who you're helping us create a space for. And hold on for a second. All right, my kids are here. I actually got to go. But so just to finish my point, I just want to say, so, and when I said it was like, and I noticed one of the cops, like his, like was starting to like tear up a little bit. And I was just like, because I was like, you know, I was like, we're just here to keep these women safe. You know, regardless of the politics, regardless of the opinions, we come in peace. We're not here to harm anybody. We're not here to like, you know, we're here to protect kids, protect women, and give women a chance to express their concerns about what's going on. And the guy, like, he like started to tear up. Oh my God, it was really sweet. And he was like, yes, he's like, you know, I just, that's the goal. You know, we just want to keep, you know, he's like, I have a mother, I have a grandmother, and I just, you know, I always think that like, if anything were to happen to them, you know, when I look at, you know, you guys, I just think I got to protect you the way I would, you know, the women in my life. I was like, oh, you know, it was emotional. Like a lot of the men that I talked to, we had a lot of men. And there's another controversial thing that I want to talk about. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I want to see what you guys think. But there were a lot of men who showed up for us, and all they did was stand there. There were men who were like my age or younger than me who came. They had like tactical gear and stuff, and all they just had cameras just standing there, and they just stood for us. That's it. That's all we've asked too. We're like, they didn't engage with them. They literally just stood like as if they were like security personnel. They just stood, and when they were getting yelled at, they didn't respond. They didn't heckle. They just stood, and I was like, thank you. And it was so funny because I was like, I like smoked a cigarette because I was really like stressed out. And one of the people, like one of the TPAs, like, can you please not smoke here? And I like stopped for a second. I like looked to the left, and there was like this like big ass park ranger. And I was like, am I allowed to smoke here? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, and shout out to there was some woman police officer. She was like really hot and like cool. She had these like long salt and pepper dreads, and just like, she just had this like air of like, you know, kind of like badassery. And I thought it was really cool. I'm like, and that's the thing. I was like, because if that were a trans identified male, you know, you'd be like, oh, it's just a woman cop, but he's not. I was like, this is a woman cop. This is what a woman looks like. This is what a woman entering a male-dominated field, and not just entering it, but killing it and climbing the ranks looks like. These are the women who deserve, you know, to have our recognition, to be protected. I mean, and I told her, I was like, yo, you're badass, and thank you. And she was like, kind of like smiled. And just the people, the energy, even the feminists and stuff like that. I mean, and it's great because now it's like I've been to a few events and I'm seeing people that I know both from online and offline. It was a really great day. They tried following us afterwards. Some girl tried to follow me and was like trying to get like close. And I turned around and I told her the same thing. I turned around. I was like, yo, what are you gonna do? Because I like tried to dress nice, you know what I mean? So like maybe they like underestimated me a little bit. I don't know. People tend to like think that I'm like, you know, not really with the shits for some reason. And I turned around, I was like, yo, what the fuck are you gonna do? I was like, touch me, please. Like, again, I invite anybody to put their hands on me. That's a risk that you want to undertake that risk. That's on you. I can't tell you how that's gonna end. I can tell you it won't be very good. But I fucking dare you to put your hands on me. I said the event's over. Why don't you fall back? You need a ride back to Kensington or something? Like what can I do to help you with, sweetheart? And then there was another girl who tried to breach like into and jump into the thing, and I was like, oh, so did you think this through all the way? Did you think this through all the way? I see you trying to climb the fence, and then what? You're gonna come, and then you're gonna be kind of what? In backstage area for our speakers corner, surrounded by us, and you got all your friends on the other. What are you gonna do next? Because I'm looking at the man to the right of you, and it looks like you two came together, and I'm guessing that's your man. That's your man, right? I can already tell you by looking at him, he's not going to do shit if we all come down on you, right? And if something happens and something transpires, I can already tell you, this little mooby, like basement dweller that you brought, that you call your boyfriend or whatever the hell, he's not going to do anything. I mean, is he on estrogen? Because it sure looks like it. I said, you're on your own, baby girl. So I said, I would run that tape all the way through to the end and make sure that's really what you want to do. Be sure. That's all I'm going to say. I can't tell you what to do. You know what I mean? You're a free agent in this world, but just be sure that's really what you want. That's really the smoke that you want. If you want it, cool. You'll let us know. I want all the smoke. Like, all right then, you ran that through. I just want to make sure that your thought process goes going all the way to the end. That's all. God, where do I get my energy from? My problem, I dump all my energy at once and then I go die for a while. I think that I realized like that's maybe I don't know if it's a strength or a weakness. I think it's like a double-edged sword. But I'll give so much of my energy like in spurts, and then I'm like brain dead. Like when I go to sleep, I'm like I go to bed so early. They try to get me to go out afterwards. I was like, guys, I'm gonna die. And I was like, and you guys don't realize, like I just like recovered from cancer. I have like 4 kids. Like I'm not really like popping like that. Although Jennifer Thomas and I did go out and like wander the city on Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. And we like, oh my God, and she let me drive her Charger. Oh, she has a Charger. I need that car, you guys. Okay, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you right now, point blank, I am a badass driver. Okay, there's a few things that I'm really good at in this world, and there's a lot of things that I'm not. But one of them is I can fucking drive, and I can race, like, and I can like really drive. I not just speed, like I can drive, I can like pull stuff off. Even I like told Daryl, I was like, admit it that he's like, I do. No one argues that you're a good driver. We all know. I was like, thank you. Anyway, so she let me drive her Charger. My God, the way that car hugs the road, the engine, oh, it was like butter. I was like, thank you for letting me drive your car. It was so amazing. I love her. Jennifer Thomas is awesome. I love you guys. I gotta go pick up my daughter. There's more. So I have another thing I want to discuss about the event that I think needs to be a group discussion, because I think I know where I'm at with it at this point, but I want to see where you guys are at with it. And I know CV said she followed the wrong turf. I really think, because all of us just looked like, like a collection of ladies and stuff like that, and it was like they really, and I'm like, what do you guys think? You gotta assume at least some of us are from here. You know what I mean? I understand that some of us are from out of town, and like, but like I said, the reason why I can have that sort of like big dick energy, and this is why I like staying in my own city, because it's like, I wish you would touch me, because I got a phone right here. All I gotta do is hit a few, boop, boop, boop a few times, and people are gonna pull up, because people aren't playing about me. You know what I mean? People don't like. I have family here. I share children with people here. So yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. My kids are trying to break in.